All right, welcome everyone. My name is Patrick Ellis. It is my pleasure to welcome to our first, what we are calling the ECONversations podcast. We're talking about economic development on a Southwest Riverside County basis. And it is my pleasure that today we have Gina Gonzalez, Scott Agajanian, Christine Damko, Kimberly Davidson, and Grant Taylor joining us. And hopefully you'll be joined soon by the famous Mr. Rob Moran. But I want to thank you all for joining me today. I want to thank you for doing this. I think that a lot of people are very interested in finding out, obviously, with everything that's going on, what's going on in economic development these days. Obviously, we've got challenges that we're facing right now, but also I think that opens up certain opportunities for all of us in one way, shape, or form. So I'm going to start in what is my picture view on my top left, and then go in a clockwise fashion. So I'm going to start off with the wonderful Miss Gina Gonzalez with the City of Menifee. So Gina, welcome. Why don't you let everyone know who you are, kind of how long you've been with the City of Menifee, and kind of give us an update on what's going on in Menifee.
Thank you very much, Patrick. Again, Gina Gonzalez, City of Menifee. Been with the city just about 6 years now. Started in the city manager's office and kind of worked my way into economic development and found a passion and a love in econ dev and everything business related. As far as the City of Menifee, as it relates to COVID-19 and what we're doing to respond to it, we've really been concentrating on the 3 R's, which is resources, retention, and recovery when it comes to our business community. And it's really what we've been trying to work through with all of our partners here today, our county colleagues, and our businesses, and really trying to figure out how this is impacting them. Obviously, we all know it's a financial impact, but working through some of the impact surveys and what those resources are and what we are envisioning that they're going to need as they move into the recovery efforts after COVID. So it's really been I know before Econ Dev is a 24/7 job, but I really feel lately there's been 36 hours in a day. And I know all of my colleagues here today, I'm very proud of our collaboration and what we're doing to help our businesses continue to thrive today.
Very good. All right, next up, Mr. Scott Agajanian, the City of Murrieta.
Hey, Patrick Ellis. Gina, I was just hoping one of those 3 R's would start with a W. That would have made me so happy. And then sadly, they didn't. They were all actual R's. And way to go on that. I don't have any good acronyms today, but I'm Scott Agajanian, City of Murrieta. And for most of us, we try, I think, in economic development world to be proactive. And I think that this pandemic has shown us that sometimes you just have to react. That there's some things out there you can't predict. And at those times, you find that teamwork's very valuable. And I've been very fortunate to lean on this group of fine economic developers for insight, information, and planning on how we get our business community back up and running as we lead out of this. I think we're all starting to see some of the writing on the wall that things are looking semi-promising here in California. And you don't want to look too much into it, but we're getting to the stage where we're starting to plan with our businesses how we reopen and what the right strategy to reopen is, and how we can do that on a local level, and then expanding it out throughout the county space, and then of course out to the state. So I have been blessed to work with these 6 fine people and learn from their experiences, as I've only been here for 2 years, done 1/3 the experience of Gina Gonzalez. And so I only have one of the 3 R's, but retention is what we're working on right now and keeping our businesses going.
Oh, you got resources too, my friend.
But I can't have 3 R's if I've only been here 2 years. It doesn't make sense. The math doesn't. There's a problem with arithmetic.
That's okay. We'll help you out.
All right. Very good. Thanks, Scott. Next up, we have Miss Christine Damko from the City of Temecula.
Hey, thank you, Patrick. Christine Damko, Economic Development Manager at the City of Temecula. I have been with the city for over 16 years. I like to say I'm a recovering planner. I started my career at the city in the planning department, so I'm very familiar with CEQA and development plans and all that, the fun acronyms there. and I moved into economic development in 2008 and been building the city's economic development program. And we also manage the city's communications. So we have been very busy with COVID, mainly on the public information officer front, getting information out. Information is changing daily. And so our at least on my side, the biggest hurdle is getting the right information out in a timely manner. We have a whole website, I'm sure as my colleagues do as well, dedicated to resources. We have a whole separate website on COVID resources from the federal, state, and county level. And we're just trying to give people the latest correct information, especially we look forward to this week as we're getting more information as it changes. So thank you.
Very good. Thanks, Christine. Next up from the city of Wildomar, Miss Kimberly Davidson.
Hi, everybody. Kimberly Davidson, City of Wildomar. I have been with Wildomar now for almost 10 months, but doing economic development in this valley for 12 years. Just to shed a little silver lining on my position in Wildomar, this position has never existed before. So this pandemic, in a weird way, has given me a great opportunity to really get to know some of my businesses a little bit better. As a lot of my econ dev colleagues can attest to, that when times are good, sometimes it's not so easy to get a hold of the business owners. They don't necessarily always need or want your help, but this crisis has given me a little bit better chance to get to know some of my business owners even more and connect with them more and really try to help them. And whether or not we can help them, our hands are a bit tied, as I know everyone else on this panel can agree to. So we're a bit tied, but it's been really kind of interesting to brainstorm with some of the business owners and help them get the correct information. Like Christine said, that's really our job, is to just make sure that our business owners are getting the correct information from the state and the county, and just connecting with them and understanding their business and getting to know who they are has been a little bit of a silver lining in all of this.
Very good. And last but not least, but now playing center for this team, the only person who can probably dunk on this team is the wonderful Mr. Grant Taylor from the city of Lake Elsinore.
Thanks, Patrick. Hello, everybody. Grant Taylor, I'm the Community Development Director for the city of Lake Elsinore. I've been here 7 years. I've lived in the city since 2002, so not only is it my place of work, it's my home. And economic development's very near and dear to my heart. It's one of my 5 divisions, but probably the most important in my eyes. It's been a challenge with the pandemic. You see businesses go out. You hope they're going to come back. You try to do all you can to help them, give them the up-to-date information. We're working closely with our public information officer, putting information on the website daily, trying to keep it as current as possible. Corresponding with the businesses, trying to be positive. It will come to pass. Doing what we can to help them, guide them to the self-service portal on our website for their licenses, their plan check, their permits. We did some webinar training for assistance programs, the Paycheck Protection Program, some of the SBA grants to try to help them out. Push back paying your fees a few months, no citations. Just trying to be as supportive as we can. And I'll tell you what, it's been really nice meeting and talking with you all regularly, brainstorming about what you're doing. It helps me come up with ideas to better serve the citizens here. So thank you for that.
Very good. So let me kind of start off with, and I'll ask this maybe to each one of you, and I think I probably kind of have an idea as to the answer of it, but I think it's good for everyone to know. You know, I know that each one of your city halls is still open, most of it being done virtually, but you know, it's still open to permits and getting development done and things of that sort. So maybe if anyone wants to chime in, development is still going forward, right? I know on Clinton Keith, the Costco property is still moving forward. Kind of give me an idea of each one of your cities. What's still moving forward development wise? What are you guys doing as far as, taking in permits, that type of stuff?
Business is still open, even though we're behind closed doors. The planning commission meetings are going, the city council meetings are going. We're processing permits, zoning entitlements, plan checks. We're doing inspections every day. We're just trying to stay on schedule, streamline as much as we can, and keep some semblance of normalcy. Fortunately, the planning commission and council agendas have still been pretty busy. So people are getting their entitlements. They're getting ready for when things do reopen. And that's it.
Anyone else?
Same. I mean, it's business as usual. Anything that was being done before is still being done. Thankfully, we live in a world that most of that could be accomplished through email and telephone anyways. So nothing really has changed. We're trying to take advantage of the schools being shut down and not so many people on the roads, and getting some road work and streetlight improvements taken care of. But anyone looking to process a permit or file an application, any of that is still open, and as much attention, if not maybe even more, because now you're not really, we're not really adhering to normal city hall hours. When you're working from home and we're all trying to get stuff done, it's kind of like, it's a fluid type of clock. So it's probably,
That's that 36 hours in a day, right?
yeah, we're not really, yeah. So, I mean, if you send an email, we're not really adhering. We're not, it's not like, oops, 5:01, we're closed, Whereas when you actually have physical doors to close and people walking in, that's a different scenario. So same business as usual.
Don't worry. There's no HR department that'll see this podcast. Don't worry.
All right, I'm gonna try and jump in here. I'm terrible with these group jump-ins because I always talk over someone on accident. So it is, and I want to think that some of these developers out here realize there's a word out there that gets a bad connotation. I don't think it's deserved, and I blame Young MC, and it's opportunistic. There are people who are opportunistic, and they seize on opportunities in the right circumstances, and there are some who realize now is the time to get things processed, and now is the time to get their projects through the system. And we're seeing a lot of that. There are medical and manufacturer users out there who are trying to expand right now because a certain demand has been placed on them that maybe wasn't there in the past. There are projects that have been here in the city, like Floor and Decor and Burlington being relocated, that have needed to push through. And now because of the closure, unfortunately there's a closure, but because of it, it allows them that time to close down one business, relocate to another business and open it up. And it actually gives them a good ability to do so without maybe the hampering on the business that they would have had in prior circumstances. So all of our projects are still moving through. All of our services are still open. Just many of them have gone virtual for the time being.
Very good. Let me ask another question. I'll start, Christine, with you on this one. So obviously a lot of us saw today that the governor announced that we're already going to be stepping into phase 2 of the reopening, which, really focuses on retail specifically, especially having to do with the curbside pickup and those types of things. Obviously, Temecula being the retail juggernaut it is in Southwest Riverside County. I would assume that you guys are all of a sudden now trying to figure out what to do next or how to do that. What does that do for you guys in Temecula as far as this new retail opening aspect?
Yeah, so we're all seeing from the governor a phase 2A to 2B. So now this is retail can open, but you can do curbside, which is great. But that is a little different than it was a couple weeks ago. But we're really looking forward to see what the Board of Supervisors says tomorrow at their special meeting tomorrow. Because right now, currently, we are under the orders of the county health officer. And so you'll see, and this is especially common in Northern California, where the governor could have more relaxed regulations or orders, but counties can be more restrictive. So you can be more restrictive. That's okay. You just can't be less restrictive than the governor's orders. So right now, Temecula, as all Southwest Riverside County, is under the county health officer's orders. And at this minute, the orders say that non-essential businesses need to remain closed, and there's no curbside pickup for non-essential businesses. So we look forward to see what the Board of Supervisors says tomorrow, if those orders will be amended to be in line with the governor's orders. And then our first order of business, actually, we were just talking about it before this podcast, was getting the correct information out to our citizens so they know, because it is darn confusing, even us, as we're following between the governor and the county, and which orders do you fall under, and which, are there amended orders. So we're watching for tomorrow, which is Tuesday. And then we will probably make a statement out on, clarifying the orders. And we're hopeful that we can go in line with the governor's current orders, I call them 2A, of allowing non-essential businesses to have curbside pickup, which is going to be great, right? You can start employing people and opening up those doors.
Yeah, that's great. And so Gina, maybe you can talk too, as I know you've got, the great marketplace there in Menifee, and you do have a few of the businesses there that are open. Some of them doing the curbside already, but obviously that, Friday changes everything. And, to Christine's point, if I'm a betting man, which I'm not, but if I'm a betting man, my money's on the county supervisors going with whatever the governor states. That changes everything in that area to be able to now open up everything for curbside pickup and what have you, as far as whatever those guidelines are. Obviously that's got to be extremely encouraging news for you and your community.
It's extremely encouraging, except for my home goods. How do I do that?
Trust me. Wife's trying to figure out how the hell do I get into home goods.
Well, what it does is, for those that do not have a plan to do curbside, it's for them to figure out quickly on putting a business plan together in order to figure that out. And a lot of these organizations that are national retailers, they are already working on that now, to put those plans in place with that expectation. Because if it wasn't happening now, it was something that was going to happen, obviously, in the future. If it was around June 19th or so to speak, they knew it was forthcoming. So we're all looking forward to some type of normalcy. And it's encouraging to see where this is going. And we just commend our county supervisors and all of our local cities of understanding the importance of getting our economy back on track, but on the same time, also taking in the health concerns of COVID-19 and what that means for our residents, and doing it safely as well. So
yeah, that's a great point, because I think that's one thing that having been on so many different calls and task force and what have you in the last 6 weeks, what our county has done in this state is remarkable compared to so many different areas in our state. So that's a phenomenal point, and that I think that gives us such a great opportunity to reopen businesses in a very safe and systematic way. So let me shift. I'm going to jump over to Grant here really quick, because one thing that is unique in our area that Lake Elsinore has, that has had some impact, but hopefully here we'll start seeing some opening and lessening of restrictions, is Launch Point. I mean, Launch Point just opened up, and it's this unbelievable campground area, and I know they've been able to still do some things, but not as many as they want. I'm sure you guys are looking at what are the possibilities now coming Friday or in the next coming weeks for Launch Point.
Exactly, Patrick. It's it's a huge economic boost for us when that opened, and then all of a sudden to have the pandemic do this. We've got fishing's open, people can still boat, but you can't lease the campsites or use the community centers for the events. Hopefully, we'll be able to start doing that again very quickly. We're hopeful and confident that the governor and the board of supervisors will move forward with a phase 2, start reintroducing business, soften the restrictions a little bit to get our economy back on track. That's huge for us over there. People have been pretty good about the masks, the social distancing with the fishing and boating, so we think they'll be okay. And the community event center may take a little while, probably not a good idea to have weddings, quinceañeras, but the camping, you can still, do safe things with the social distancing. So fingers crossed.
Yeah, I would hope that's coming soon, because I know that there's other campgrounds around, some, I think, state-run campgrounds that are still technically open in the state that, don't have some of those, community areas, and they're allowed to open. So hopefully that is, because I think that would make a huge difference. And we know, obviously, as a tourism destination in Southwest Riverside County, we want to open up as much of that as we possibly can here as soon as we can in a very safe way, obviously. So let me wrap up and kind of go, for our first podcast here. Obviously, I know that there's a ton of different resources. I know that every city has a website that has resources available to them having to do with, COVID-19 and all the different things that go along with that. And the county has a phenomenal website that kind of has all those resources as well. Maybe if we can kind of do a reverse roundtable here and kind of say what is it that you guys want to know as the economic development people in your respective communities that they should know as far as help for the businesses within each one of your specific communities? And we'll go in reverse order, and you guys have kind of changed on my screens here. I'll go with Grant. We'll start with Grant and go backwards on my screen.
We have a COVID-19 web spot right on our homepage, so it's front and center. We update the information daily to keep our residents and our business community informed. Hopefully, we'll be able to give them some better news in the very near future about businesses opening up again and opportunities. But we've got the self-serve portal that'll help them with everything. That's also on the home page. Whatever we can do to help them. It's the most important thing is economic development, and it's all on the home page of our website.
Very good. Kimberly.
Same. Ours, we have a COVID-19 link on our homepage. I think it's also wildamar.org/COVID-19, but it's just easy just to get there. Go to wildamar.org and click on the big, says COVID-19 in giant letters. Click on that. And we've just tried to accumulate all of our resources into one easy to find spot for our businesses. We did create an interactive map so that you can see what restaurants and supplies are open in Wildomar, and what their modus of operation is, what their MO is right now. And also supplies, not just eateries, but also supplies. And, it's just, I know we tend, I think the group of us here, we tend to try to stay positive anyways, and we want to remain positive, but I think it should also be said that our businesses, even when we roll out whatever phase we're on, a lot of our businesses are still going to be struggling. A lot of restaurants don't have a business plan that allow them to work on takeout only or curbside pickup. And it's just been really difficult to field some of those calls. And I don't know about you guys, but I've ended up on my bathroom floor in a fetal position more than a few times during this. So I think it should just be said that even though we're excited about the next phase, it's still going to really suck for some people. And there's going to be some people that aren't going to make it through this. And it's so tough to watch.
Yeah, I hear you. Scott.
So a couple of things. First of all, Kim is absolutely right. This isn't a one-size-fit-all. This is going to be a phased-in approach. And if anything has come out of this, the hope is that we've made it a little bit safer and helped some people get through this that might have otherwise been contaminated and overwhelmed our medical systems. But, coming out with a phased approach to reopening isn't going to work for everybody. There's some businesses that simply aren't going to reopen right away until they can go to a fully open approach. And we have to understand that and be here to support them in whichever capacity they can open. A couple other quick thoughts before we get into the website. You're seeing Grant Taylor right now from the 72-foot view because that's the only height you can get high enough to actually see him from the top. It's amazing. And you've managed, Patrick, for 36 minutes to keep Gina Gonzalez in one place. And that might be the first time that's ever happened. So congratulations all the way around. This was a fantastic idea. The city of Murrieta has more stuff on our website that is COVID-19 than not at this point. It is murrietaca.gov. When you go to the homepage, you will find 3 big banners that take you right to COVID information. It is also updated daily. I think Christine and Kim were correct in talking about what the main role of economic development has been throughout this process, and it has really been informational. While we're still working on projects behind the scenes and doing the things that we do in economic development, the real information out to the business community has been key. We've gone to a every single day newsletter instead of a once a month newsletter. And I know most of you have been doing the exact same thing because I steal information from you every chance I get when you get something before we do. It's really been a matter of just getting information out to our businesses and our community as quickly as possible. So murrietaca.gov, and you will find all the COVID links there. And I cannot wait for the day when you go to murrietaca.gov and don't find any COVID links.
That's right.
Amen. I hear that. All right. Christine.
Yeah, so for the city of Temecula, like I said, we have a whole website. It's called Temecula Revive, and it lists all the federal, state, and county resources, just a quick paragraph about them, and then links to either their applications or more information. We also, I would encourage any businesses out there that are still alive and still alive. I hope you're still alive. But really that are just reinventing themselves or pivoting their business plan to really tag us or send us an email because I'm sure we all would like to feature some survival stories out there and some great innovations. That is what, from a public information where I sit, we're constantly looking for those stories in Temecula, and we're featuring them on our social media channels, and really just to serve as an inspiration to the community and to other businesses that, hey, what about pivoting here or this idea? So.
Great. I think that's a great point and we've been trying to do that ourselves is kind of garner all these different great positive stories of, some of the cool things that are coming out of, the unfortunate opportunities that we're faced with now. So, wrapping us up is Ms. Gina.
Thank you. Just like my colleagues, we have our COVID-19 page. If you go, like Kim said, if you go to the main page, you'll see a big banner right across for COVID, but I'll redirect you to all of the resources and information that's available to you. But we also have a Menifee Cares initiative, which is about the recovery efforts. And if you go to Menifee Cares direct website, you'll see even a downloadable resource that are available to you. And I can give you a little snapshot, but you can kind of scroll through all of the available materials that are, even the workshops that all of my colleagues were all part of SBDC and SCORE, and there's available free workshops for our business community, but just a slew of information that's available there on our website. Again, that's Menifee Cares or cityofmenifee.us/coronavirus or COVID-19. So, or menifeebusiness.com.
Awesome. Thank you, Gina. You can't ask for a better way to finish, but with show and tell. So thank you very much. Appreciate that. So I want to thank you all again for doing this. We're going to hopefully be doing this on a weekly basis. try and update everyone with what's going on, whether it's COVID related or not. Economic development will continue to move forward regardless. So, and we're going to try and get this up onto our website. It's the Southwest Riverside County Economic Development. It's the ECONversations with Southwest Riverside County Economic Development Professionals. So we appreciate the time. We'll see you next week, and thank you again.